Okay, here I have a fluorescent light fitting. This is made by Lanson, model LAN LPHD236E. 236 watt fluorescent thing made in China. They look like they're almost new. These are a tip shop special, $5 each. But I grabbed them, they're missing the, well most of them were missing the actual covers, the diffusers, but they're also missing the metal cover that should go in here. But they do have these nice electronic ballasts in them that don't look like they've had too much use. So I thought I might as well grab a few of them, and if nothing else I could upgrade some fittings with some better ballast in them. It'd be interesting to actually maybe pull one of these apart and see what's actually in it. It's just some sort of switch mode power supply, I guess. So I've got a power cord wired up to this one. So I'll stick a couple of 36 watt tubes in and see if it actually works. I don't think these later ones care about, I do have an older one and it actually needs, but it's made for running 40 watt tubes. It's got like, they're more quick start ballasts than electronic ones, and that actually needs the metal cover to be near the lamps to even fire the things. Well, let's oh yeah, we've got a little bit of flickering in the tubes there, probably because these tubes haven't even been used for a while. But at least they should be like instant startup. None of that flickering rubbish that you get with starters. That's what I was thinking, if nothing else. These would be better than even having the electronic starters. Make a little bit of a buzzing sound, but I don't know, these are only made in Thailand, Sylvania lamps. Luckily I had another light fitting I got from the tip shop, because I do have some brand new lamps somewhere, but they're all buried under stuff at the moment because it's so long since I've used a fluoro tube. But luckily I had another fitting, so they're running, even if not perfectly at the moment. They probably need to run a bit. I don't know how good these lamps are. Looks like it was made in 2006, so they're nearly 20 years old already. But yeah, that seems to work alright. So obviously disconnect the power before fiddling with anything like this, but I might actually have a look. I'll take the cord back off that. But I thought if nothing else, I could actually just use these as shed light fittings up high out of the way somewhere, even without the cover on them. As long as no one can get near them to touch them. Or find some covers similar size, or some old 40 watt fittings with the old style ballast in it and upgrade them. I think these you can just press these, can't you? And do you press them or lift them? Oh, you press it and the wire comes out. Nice design, love those things, rather than those silly old ones that wouldn't let you get near them. And then we've got the two outputs for the lamp, where it shows the lamp connected there. Shows you how to strip the wires, approval to AS whatever. So these are probably designed in Australia or whatever to our standards, because they've got at least decent, it's got Lanson moulded into it, but the terminal blocks are good quality. You know you've got a crappy fitting if you can barely get any wires in there, but if it's got a good terminal block and stuff, it means someone designed it for actual electricians to use. I can probably just pop the cover off. Quality pass 2014, 29th of August 2014, so they're 10 years old already, but they really don't look like they've had much use, because usually these things are massive dust collectors. Can I get that cover to... maybe not. Is it going to flick off? I assume they just press fit, but try not to stab my thumb. I'm not sure how they've done them. They don't just pop off easily, that's for sure. That should lift off. Ah, come on people. Looks like I'm going to have to unscrew it at least. And since I've just had this power up, we should assume that it could have live, as in charged up capacitors in it. That should just, we've just got to get it on the right angle. That comes off easy enough. Sometimes those labels help hold everything together. Now, maybe, I reckon there's another one under there somewhere, is there? Trying to come up. Might be a bit more holding this on than it looks. I think it's coming, isn't it? Oh, here we go. But we've got to have a look inside, and there it is, a nice little switch mode power supply type thing. So we've got a couple of capacitors there that could be charged. It's almost like the backlight inverter in a LCD television, which basically does just run little fluorescent lights, or the early ones did before they went to LED. And from what I've seen, they were a lot more reliable, the fluorescent ones, than the LED ones, but I guess we can't have anything with a little bit of mercury vapor in it in the modern world. So there it is. I won't touch anything until shouldn't even be touching it on the metal case until I've checked those caps. But I guess these are going to be one of the modern world's latest kinds of e-waste. Something there, 50 volts on that one, 50 volts on that one. Does that mean there's twice that across them? They're not exactly in parallel, are they? But I think I'll try and find my discharge resistor here somewhere. Whether there's much current there, I didn't even see a spark, but you don't want to be messing around with stuff like that. 1 volt, 1.7 volts, that's good enough for me. What have we got here? A couple of 13005. I think they used to use those in computer power supplies, those transistors. I think they were FETs of some sort, but yeah, 13005s. What is this thing? Some sort of, don't know, multi-pinned. Feels kind of solid. Is it an anti-interference inductor or something? We've got this other thing here with a whole bunch of pins on it, and these caps go across it. One must be a bridge what have we got? A bridge rectifier. We've got a little fuse, filter cap, couple of inductors. This might be the bridge rectifier because that's got the caps across it. Cap, then a cap straight. The positive of the cap only goes to that. Is it the positive? Yeah, and the negative of this cap only goes to it. So maybe it's an auto voltage selection type thing as well. So that could be a bridge rectifier even, because it's got AC in. Yeah, so through that inductor goes in, through that inductor goes in, then we've got the earth goes in. And 2 pins come out, which then go into this next black blob. The 4609, that's an AD2, so no idea. Do I have anything to say what? Do I have to unsolder them to see what even their circuit board location number is, or what sort of component they're calling it? So it's just a little switch mode power supply and an inductor off the output of that. Well, is it off the output of that? Is it an actual transformer, or is that just the ballast? Because we need a filament voltage normally, and something to arc the tube, and then something to current limit it once that arc is formed. So we've got 4 wires here, but only 2 pins. Oh no, there is 4 pins, alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. One comes right back up here somewhere. The other one goes to the inductor and a capacitor, and then there's another oh no, what is that? There's something there. Oh, there's nothing in there. It looks like there is, but there isn't. And then there's a capacitor across these 2, and some little green blob. A PTC, so it's a mister. So yeah, a little green PTC cap goes between a couple of the pins, and that PTC, does that go between those pins? Yes, there's a PTC across the middle 2 pins of the lamp, which according to this, A2 is one filament, A3 is the other filament. So that's basically where the starter would normally go. You'd have voltage in, you'd have, like, say, neutral, then between the other end of one filament and the end of the other end of the filament, we'd have a starter. So they've got a capacitor and a PTC. So maybe the PTC does something similar. And then the other end of the lamp would normally go to the ballast, and then to the other side of the power. Turn off power before servicing. Properly ground ballast and fix ballast. They're calling it an electronic ballast, but I guess it does the same sort of thing. I'm not sure if this inductor doesn't look like an output transformer. It may. That's more like the little output transformer thing there, I think. Like a chopper transformer, so maybe that is just an actual ballast. But then, what is the electronic power supply doing? Dunno. I guess I should read up on some of these things, how this technology works. I have seen bits and pieces on it. Whoops. But I don't know if these run the lamp filaments all the time. They may well do. That's what the old, like, what they call a magnetic or dimmable magnetic ballast versus some of these are dimmable, I think, but it's a dimmable electronic ballast. The dimmable magnetic ones, I think, ran the heaters in kind of in parallel or series on each lamp, and just basically ran them the whole time with about 4 volts, I think it was, or something. So I don't know whether this, whereas in a starter type magnetic ballast standard lamp fitting, you just the starter basically allows a current to flow through, basically through those 2 filaments at each end of the lamp. You basically got power in and then power on the other side via a ballast, but the ballast is just a short circuit at this when the lamp's just initially started up, and the starter actually just shorts the filaments across the mains basically, so you get the 2 filaments in series right across the mains through that ballast, and the starter shorts them all together so they heat up, and then it's being a bimetallic thing itself, it heats up and opens again, and hopefully by that stage the hot gas in the lamp has got excited enough and a big arc is shorted out through the mercury or whatever down the lamp, so then the current just flows. The filaments do nothing basically other than your electricity goes, I guess, arcs off one filament down the lamp tube to the other end, but the filaments themselves don't light up, and they're basically open circuit because the starter's open at that point. And the starter, I think, it's basically shorted out at that point because all the electricity is flowing through the arc. So quite kind of a weird setup, the old arc lamps. And I'm not sure with like the mercury vapor and that, they have an igniter as well, but I think that's a bit different to a fluorescent starter, but they're all, I mean, these are a mercury vapor lamp. Ah, get on there. So the same sort of technology, but you have all your different mercury vapor and high pressure sodiums and low pressure sodiums and what's the other one, metal halides, and I guess I should have a look into a few of those sometime. Oh, I didn't put the, I was going to say, why is this circuit board moving around, but I didn't put the screw back in, did I? That held it to its base plate. That'll stop that moving around. And I put it, did I put it around the wrong way? It doesn't really matter as long as the top's on it. I'm not sure, these are quite long and thin, so I don't think these fit on the normal, in place of a normal magnetic ballast in a fitting, but I'm sure you could find a way of bolting one in there. But these would be nice to put in the old fittings with the blinkety starters and stuff. I do have some electronic starters here, but even those can be a bit slow. You tend to get a startup delay on the tube. But yeah, interesting little devices. But I think they are actually banning, or have banned, mercury vapor lamps, or at least fluorescent ones in the EU now. So unfortunately these things are going to be a bit of a dying breed. but they're good reliable lamps. Yeah, it's got a bit of paint on it. I mean, it's definitely been installed somewhere, but given how clean they are, I don't think they've done an awful lot of hours. Maybe it's just a very clean building. But anyway, thanks for watching.